Hello, everybody. My name is David Augustine. I'm a tax collector here in San Francisco. We're going to wait a minute or two as people log into the Zoom website, and then I'll begin in 1 or 2 minutes. So I'll just put myself on mute, and then we'll dive in very shortly. Okay, I see we have about 33 participants, which is about what we expected. So it looks like most people are here who want to be here. And we appreciate you taking time and talking to us today. Why don't we go ahead and start the slide presentation? So today's presentation is going to be recorded and posted on our website. We're going to have an opportunity for questions and answers at the end of this. We will turn the recording off before that question and answer period starts. And so you should feel free to speak freely at the Q&A session at the end. We are going to be muting all participants and disabling the video option on Zoom. And the video is only for folks speaking. The Q&A. So there is a function on Zoom at the bottom of the screen to ask a question and put it into a sort of chat function. You're welcome to do that. I probably won't look at any of the Q&A until we get done with the presentation. So I'd ask that if you can, why don't we just hold off on any questions until we get to the end, and then we're happy to spend as much time as we need to go over any questions. And for closed captioning, you can select the closed caption icon on the bottom of your screen under the More button. Okay, we have a pretty packed agenda today. Certainly hope to demystify a bit of the process about auctions and provide more information. We're going to start talking about why this parcel is eligible for auction, what a sealed bid auction is, and how a sealed bid auction differs from a regular public auction. We're going to discuss the bidding process for a sealed bid auction and a step-by-step guide. We're going to talk about a couple of topics around the low value ordinance and ongoing taxation that will be definitely of interest, I think, to everybody here. And then talk about next steps and open it up for some questions and answers to the chat function. So, parcel eligibility for auction. So we in San Francisco, like every county in California, are required to hold a property auction. State law requires that we are permitted to auction parcels after 5 years of no non-payment of taxes. And after 9 years of taxes, we are required to put a parcel up for auction. In San Francisco, we generally wait until that 9-year period has lapsed before we put parcels up for auction. We don't love to auction parcels. It's not our favorite thing to do, but it is certainly our obligation as a county in the state. We spend a lot of time in our property tax section locating owners of these parcels that are unpaid, and tracking down owners, notifying them of their obligations, notifying any party of interest, meaning a bank that may hold a mortgage, a lien holder, other parties who have a recorded interest in the property. We try to locate everybody who has any legal interest in a tax defaulted parcel to let them know about the impending potential sale of that parcel. We also publish in the newspaper the year of the auction, and we do skip tracing, and we certainly use all sorts of resources to try to track down anybody who maybe would want to know that the parcel is being auctioned. So that's a long way of saying that anytime a parcel is auctioned, whether it be through sealed bid or the regular public auction, we communicate as many times in as many different ways as possible to make sure everyone's aware. So there are, on the next slide, a couple different types of auctions. I'll start with the public auction, which is the traditional auction, and that is something that folks might be aware of. We generally have a public auction every April of every year, and it's online, and it usually is open for 3 or 4 days, and it's an online process where people can bid and they can make multiple bids. And so that is our general sort of traditional auction. This year, we're going to be doing a sealed bid auction, which is a different auction. So we wanted to say that there's going to be 2 auctions this year, the public auction and the sealed bid auction. And sealed bid candidates, or these parcels, will be separate from the public auction. So either a parcel will be included in the sealed bid auction, or it will be included in the public auction, but it will not be, there's no parcel that will be a part of both auctions. We want to make that extra clear. We have the same procedures generally for both types of auctions. Again, as I mentioned before, it's a lot of notification, making sure everyone's aware, giving people opportunities to pay, letting them know that this will happen and that somebody could purchase the property unless the taxes are redeemed prior to the sale. There are some important differences between a public auction and a sealed bid auction. And generally, the procedures really favor a sealed bid auction and provide a lot of benefits, I think, to property owners for a sealed bid. So in a general public auction, usually the sale price is set, and the minimum bid price is set at the totality of all of the taxes that are outstanding and due, plus the auction costs. That number can be easily in the thousands of dollars just to make an opening bid. And then the bids, of course, may go up from there. And the auction is open to everybody, so anyone in the world can bid on a public auction. A sealed bid presents some opportunities and some differences. First of all, this office can adjust the minimum bid to less than the taxes due and less than the auction costs. And we can do that for the majority of parcels that have been offered before. And if they've been offered before at auction and not bid on, we can reduce that minimum bid price. And in almost all cases for the sealed bid candidates, we have reduced that minimum bid price to a very, very low price. And the other big feature is that only adjacent parcel owners are eligible to bid. So it's a much smaller universe of folks who can bid in a sealed bid auction. Okay, understanding the sealed bid auction. So only certain types of parcels are allowed to participate, and it has to be a parcel that is unusable due to its size, location, or other conditions, including being landlocked or too small to meet minimum local building code requirements, or it cannot be independently developed without being combined with an adjoining property. I read that is from the Revenue and Taxation Code and state law. So state law has a pretty clear definition of what is eligible for sealed bid. It has to be essentially a very small and kind of unusual parcel that essentially has sort of that a neighbor might be interested in, but a member of the general public may gain no benefit from. If you've received a notice of a potential sealed bid, that means our office has determined that the parcel in question meets this definition. Again, the big advantages of a sealed bid: only neighboring owners are allowed to bid, and the minimum offering price has been reduced where possible. At the end of the bidding process, whoever bids the highest amount, whatever that amount is, that person wins the parcel, and all back taxes are satisfied, and the ownership of the parcel then is transferred to that winning bidder via a deed. So what is a sealed bid? Okay, I think we're going to go into what is a sliver lot. Yes, okay. A sliver parcel is what we use internally to describe the parcels that you have been shown in your letter of interest. It's a very small piece of land. Every sliver lot, we give an example here of a sliver lot, and has a unique story of how it came to be. And in many cases, we don't know the answer of how it came to be. Sometimes there were maybe a mistake in a title recording process, or some issue happened in the past vis-a-vis mapping or other issues. Again, there's no one reason why all of these parcels have been created. Every parcel has, again, a unique story. The most important thing I want to communicate today is that every sliver is a valid parcel. Even if it looks like a mistake, even if it feels like a mistake, it is a valid parcel of land. And indeed, our assessor's office across the hall from us in City Hall, their charter obligation is to map every inch of San Francisco. And so they can leave no inch of San Francisco unmapped or without an assessor's parcel number. And so this is them making sure they're doing their job and that there's no gaps in San Francisco real estate. You all know, I'm sure, that in many cases there was someone using that parcel or occupying that parcel or built on that parcel. That is certainly true, I think, in many or maybe almost all of the cases that we've seen, but that fact doesn't change our obligation to offer these parcels at auction. We'll now look at the bidding process. So this is our attempt to demystify the bidding process. The bidding process has started with the communication that you've all received. And if anybody is interested in bidding on a parcel, they can submit an indication of interest through the website or through the mail. The website's the recommended way, it's very easy. And indicate an interest to bid on the parcel in question by the end of this year. If you submit an indication of interest, you are not legally required to submit a bid. We understand that people can change their mind and become less interested in bidding over time. The important thing here is that once anybody expresses interest in a parcel, that parcel will go through the sealed bid process, even if you lose interest later. So any one owner that neighbors that parcel in question who submits an interest indication, it means that parcel will go to the sealed bid process. If nobody submits an interest that's adjoining that parcel will go to the public auction. So if there is an expression of interest, then we are going to issue bid packets to all of the contiguous property owners in March 2025. And again, that is pursuant to state law. So it's not, we don't just email a bid packet to the person who's indicated interest, we email it to everybody who is contiguous to that. And they all get an opportunity to bid on that parcel, even if not everybody submitted an expression of interest. We anticipate the sealed bid auction will be open for bidding approximately 30 days. You'll have some time to think about it and talk to your neighbors if necessary, or talk it over. Unlike a public auction where a person could submit multiple bids over time and the bid price escalates over time for parcels that are deemed valuable. In a sealed bid, every bidder gets one and only one opportunity to submit their bid. If you submit a bid, again in March, you would then just send us a simple form that we'll send to you. You'll send it back to us and sign it and say you're interested in submitting a bid. And then you'll have to enclose payment in the envelope and return that payment to our office. We then take all of those envelopes and have a public process where we open them and then award the parcel to the highest bidder. Okay, we'll go to the bidding process continued. Again, we just talked about on May 15th, we'll open the envelopes. The winning bidder will be notified in writing. Unsuccessful bidders, you have sent us some money. We will send you back that money very, very quickly. You know that is important to you to get that money back. So we'll get that money back to you. And if there's a tie, we may extend the sale. Whatever the winning bid is, that is all that is owed for full ownership of the parcel. So despite the fact that there were many, maybe in some cases, hundreds or thousands of dollars of back taxes owed, those are not anyone's obligation at any point in time after the winning bid has been submitted and approved by our office. You will also not need to pay any auction costs or other fees in order to receive the deed. And again, that is different than the public auction where we do pass on our costs to the winning bidder. So valuation going forward, the winning bid amount will likely become the new assessed valuation for the parcel going forward. So if you bid $100 and win, the new assessed valuation would very likely be $100. We can't say for sure what that assessed valuation is because that's not our function. That's the function of the assessor recorder's office. But we understand in conversations with them that, again, they are very, very likely to take the purchase price, the winning bid price, and make that the new assessed valuation price. One other important thing to understand is that if you win, the assessed valuation of your current home that is adjacent to this parcel will not change because you own that new parcel. You will just own two parcels. You will retain your assessed valuation on your current home. That will not change, and you will have likely a new assessed valuation on this new parcel. However, there's another benefit we wanted to talk about called the low value ordinance that exempts low value parcels from taxation going forward. And we'll get into that right now. So just to reiterate, the theme that the value of any parcel purchased through a sealed bid will likely result in that value becoming the assessed valuation of the parcel. And that is the assessor's function. However, San Francisco has a low value ordinance that provides a big benefit to any parcel that's valued at $500 or less. These parcels are adjusted to 0 ad valorem taxes going forward. And that also means that no parcel taxes attached to them. And you may be aware that we have 4 parcel taxes in San Francisco, 3 with the school district, 1 with the community college district. Those charges can be substantial, and they otherwise would attach to many low value parcels. Those parcel taxes do not attach to any parcel that is under $500 or less. A very small number of parcels that are being auctioned have community benefit district charges. Those charges would remain going forward. So if you are interested or concerned about that, you can take the assessor's parcel number from the parcel that's being sold, put it into our website. We'll give you the link later. And you can determine if the parcel in question has any community benefit district charges, and you can assume that those would be continue into the future. You can also assume that the parcel taxes may not continue, and the ad valorem may not continue if the winning bid is $500 or less. So in the example where the winning bid was $100, under the low value ordinance, that assessed valuation would be reduced to 0 ad valorem property taxes going forward. Assuming there's no community benefit district charges, there are no taxes owed on that parcel going forward. And we may not even issue a tax bill for that parcel. We generally don't issue tax bills for parcels that have no money due. But however, if the winning bid is $600, property taxes would be assessed at probably at that $600 assessed valuation price. And more importantly, perhaps parcel taxes may apply to that parcel, which could total, again, hundreds of dollars. So it's important to understand the distinction between that $500 above and below and what that means for the valuation going forward. The next area we'd like to focus on is this section of the Revenue and Taxation Code about merger. So it can be a little confusing, so I wanted to walk through what this requirement means. The California Revenue and Taxation Code, which is right in front of us here, says that the tax collector shall require that the successful bidder request the assessor and planning director to combine the unusable parcel with the bidder's own parcel as a condition of sale. So again, that's written such that we are required to have the successful bidder request a merger. There is no actual requirement to merge in the Revenue and Taxation Code. So what I can say is that if anybody goes through the bidding process and does not complete and wins the parcel, does not go through the merger process, does not want to go through the merger process, it will not affect the parcel ownership or the parcel that you bid on. I do want to describe a bit about the merger process, about what we know about it, just so you can be aware of it. And so you can be aware of whether you want to pursue that avenue. The merger process is initiated by the property owner and not initiated by city government. It's governed by the Department of Planning, Department of Public Works and the Planning Department. The process involves a fee. The fee can be high in some cases, and it may also require a property survey at the property owner's expense. It's not a quick process, as I understand it. In this office, we are not the subject matter experts, but we encourage everyone to look at the merger requirements. And at the end of this presentation, we have some links that you can go peruse the merger options. What this office will do is we will notify the Department of Public Works and Planning Department of the winning bidders for these sliver lots. But again, the merger process is something that would be an owner-initiated event, not a city-initiated event. The city will not come after you to force you to merge these parcels. So again, it won't affect your ownership of the parcel. You may want to pursue merger. There may be very good reasons to pursue merger, especially to make sure that the parcel, maybe that ownership is perfected of the dominant parcel, things like that. But it would be an option up to the winning bidder to go through that process. Okay, let us move on to next steps. So many of you may have this form may look familiar to you. You can return this form to us through the mail or preferably online at sftreasure.org/sealedbid. And it's a very short form to fill out to indicate that you have an interest. And again, filling the form out obligates you to do nothing more, and you do not need to bid on the parcel if you change your mind later. If any parcel owner contiguous to the parcel being sold indicates interest, all of the parcel owners will get a bid packet late in March. And the most important thing is we have an email address set up, taxsale@sfgov.org, that folks can reach out to us at any time to discuss their particular circumstances. And again, going back to something I said earlier, we understand that every parcel is different and there are unique characteristics to sort of the story of every parcel here. We have some additional resources here. The first is our own website. And again, you can check the current bill for the parcel in question if you would like to see what charges are attaching to it. We also have a link here on this presentation, which will be available publicly, that you can click on to go to the subdivision and mapping area of the Department of Public Works. And they have a ton of information around the merger process. And there's also an email that folks could communicate with the DPW folks. We have Planning Department has a property information map, which is really excellent. I think it's a ton of information about every single parcel in San Francisco. It's just fun to see what the city has and what sort of the totality of information that exists around a particular piece of property. And then the Assessor Recorder's Office has a tool that you can search for recorded documents, such as deeds and liens, and that may be sort of illuminating for the parcel in question. Okay, we have some Q&A. We have a few questions and answers that we ginned up ourselves because we've heard these come into our office over the last month. So we're going to go ahead and answer a few questions right off the bat, and then we will stop recording and open it up to any sort of written comments. So the first question, is it okay to coordinate with my neighbors who are also adjacent to the parcel regarding bidding? The answer is absolutely. Makes a lot of sense in many cases to talk to your neighbors and see if there's any interest in bidding by any party for the parcel. The second question, do I have to pay all the back taxes? The answer there is no. Again, the winning bid will become the new assessed valuation going forward and will satisfy all of the back obligations, no matter what they are. Next question, how will this purchase change my current tax bill? And again, for let's say you own a home that is adjacent to one of these parcels, that home will not be affected one iota from your purchase of the sliver lot. And you may receive a separate tax bill for the sliver lot, depending on, again, if it's over if it's under or over that low value threshold amount. So that is the conclusion of our presentation today. I want to thank you all for listening. We will end the recording now.